News Channel 20 Sports Desk, sponsored by Route 66 Solar.
After 33 games and plenty of highs and lows, Illinois will be playing in that coveted NCAA tournament. Illinois is the 6th seed in the Midwest region, and the first weekend is going to be played in Milwaukee. In the first round, they're going to take on either 11 seed Xavier or Texas on Friday night, but we won't know which one of those teams they'll play until Wednesday. But don't worry, Illinois is likely going to be favored in both of those matchups. As for the rest of the bracket, Illinois could see the high-scoring Kentucky Wildcats in the second round, and the Houston Cougars are the #1 seed in that region. If Illinois advances, the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 will be held in Indianapolis. And after an inconsistent season, Illinois, they're happy to be back in the big dance and have one of the nation's longest streaks of making it.
5 years in a row, one of us, Michigan State and Purdue, one of 3 Big Ten teams to be doing that. I don't take that for granted.
And tune in tonight to hear from players in a breakdown of Illinois' season. I'm Carson Gordy. Take care.
The News Channel 20 Sports Desk, sponsored by Route 66 Solar.
We've known for a while that Illinois was going to make the NCAA tournament, and we know on Friday they're going to face either Texas or Xavier in the first round. But one thing that we don't know is how far Illinois will go. At 21-12, Illinois, they got plenty of highs and lows. Marquee wins over Michigan and Purdue, but bad losses to Rutgers and Nebraska, holding them back at that modest 6th seed for the NCAA tournament. For the round of 64, they'll be taking on either Xavier or Texas and will likely be favored. In the round of 32, they'll likely face the high-scoring Kentucky Wildcats. And bottom line, if Illinois wants to stay alive, their three-point shooting's got to be on point. Since January 2nd, Illinois is 10-2 if they just make 8 three-pointers. That's a low number. And during that same stretch, when they win, they've been shooting 36% from deep. In losses, that number plummets to 24%. And Brad Underwood says his team needs to be locked in before each game and maybe manage emotions better. He saw a stark difference between the team after the win against Iowa and the loss to Maryland during last week's Big Ten tournament.
Yeah, we were bouncing off the walls before the Iowa game. We weren't that energetic. That's my fault. We weren't maybe as focused leading up to that game as we needed to be.
And the women's team also punching its ticket to the big dance. It'll be just their second NCAA tournament appearance since 2003. In the first round, they're going to be taking on Creighton. And if they win that game, they'll face the #1 seed, the Texas Longhorns, in the round of 32. And the high school baseball season kicking off. Tune in tonight and get some highlights and scoreboard action. I'm Carson Gordy. I'll see you tonight.
Sponsored by Route 66 Solar.
Illinois is back in the NCAA tournament, and they're a 6th seed, but we don't know who they're going to be playing until Wednesday night. They're going to face the winner of Texas and Xavier.
I don't know much about Xavier or Texas other than they've been historically very good programs.
Illinois is going to be favored in each of those matchups, most likely for that Friday game. But for Illinois, sometimes it's just like playing golf, meaning you're playing yourself. Illinois' offense heavily structured around that three-point shot. And since the new year, if they make just 8 of them, they have a sparkling 10-2 record. But if they make less than 8, they're just 2-6. Another factor is Illinois' energy. They've been up and down all year. Brad Underwood said during last week's Big Ten tournament, they were ready for Iowa, but maybe not ready for Maryland, who blew out Illinois. That needs to change in a win-or-go-home situation.
Yeah, we were bouncing off the walls before the Iowa game. We weren't that energetic. That's my fault. We weren't maybe as focused leading up to that game as we needed to be.
Illinois is in the Midwest region, and here is the rest of the bracket. If Illinois wins that first game, they'll likely face the #3 seed Kentucky in the second round. Wildcats have an explosive offense, but an awful defense. If Illinois beats them, they would advance that Sweet 16 in Indianapolis, with potential matchups against Tennessee and Houston being the 2 and 1 seeds respectively. Illinois, they faced elite teams all year, like Michigan State, Duke, and Alabama in the regular season. Underwood thinks his team is battle-tested for March.
So we've seen them. There's no doubt, and had an opportunity to win a couple of those games and didn't. But I think we're in a spot where we feel that we know we can go out and compete with anybody and beat anybody.
But Illinois, They'll need their projected NBA first-round draft picks to play well. Freshman Kasparas Yakichonis is a projected top 6 pick, but lately he's struggled with turnovers and shooting inefficiency. Freshman Will Riley is a projected top 20 pick. He's been averaging 16 points per game over the last 13 games. And Illinois is also going to count on junior Kylan Boswell, who transferred from Arizona last season. The point guard was averaging 16 points per game over his last 5. And Boswell, he's from Champaign.
I've said this a lot, it's really surreal for me. Being a kid growing up here and watching these games and now playing for the same town I grew up in. It's really exciting. I love it here. I'm glad I came here. But it would be a really surreal moment to step into that court with the Illinois jersey.
An Illinois women's team also made the NCAA tournament. This is just their second invite since 2003. It's been a masterclass coaching job by head coach Shauna Green. A 21-9 record and an 8 seed, despite losing 2 top players to season-ending injuries. On Saturday, they'll take on 9 seed Creighton, and if they win that game, they'll take on the number 1 seed Texas on Monday. For Illinois' veteran laden team, they've played in the NCAA tournament before, but this year, it feels different.
I think the difference, I think that first year we were just excited to be in the tournament. You know, we hadn't been there in 20 years. So I think that year we were all just excited to make it, and that was the goal. But I think this year it was more of like we deserve to be in it, and now we want to be, you know, we can focus more on the seeding, who we're playing, where we are.
And finally, high school baseball back with the Sandlot music playing in the background. But temperatures so cold, dogs cuddled up in Chicago Cub blankets. Tolono Unity took care of business against St. Teresa. Behind impeccable pitching, a ton of stolen bases and extra base hits. Our team's excited to cover America's pastime all spring long. I'm Carson Gordy. Take care. Thank you for watching, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Be sure to watch more videos from News Channel 20.